Okay, my friends, here it is. This Saturday morning live stream here at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters. The Christmas Eve special. And I am wearing the costume outfit that I'm going to wear to the Christmas Eve party that we have. Because each year we have like a family Christmas Eve party, and it's kind of themed. One year was Fleece Navidad. Yeah, we all had to wear fleece. Another year, well, it's been going on like 14 years, I think. And each year there's like a theme. And so this year it is Hawaiian Christmas. And so this was my Hawaiian shirt. What do you think? Does it say Hawaiian? I like it. It feels like something someone would have wore in the 70s. It's silk. So here we are. So let's see who is here, guys. What are you up to? How is your Christmas going? Blackbird Schoolies and Tiny Homes. Hello, my friend. Richard Hoof. Hello. It says, with all the warm weather and rain, do I need to worry about my garlic bulbs rotting here in northern Indiana? We usually have a little bit of frost in the ground by now. No. So long as there is adequate drainage in the soil, then you'll be perfectly fine. As long as they are not like literally sitting in water, then they're going to be fine. Oh, that's why everyone's saying aloha. I was thinking, why is everyone saying aloha? Okay, but then, of course, here we go. That's right, Hawaiian Christmas. So, the garlic is going to be just fine. Garlic is extraordinarily hardy, hardier than just about anything else. It just stays there in the soil as a packet of information, just waiting until the conditions are right, and then it's going to, boom, grow. It'll be the first thing to grow in the garden, pretty much. The alliums are the first things to push up. So garlic will be just fine so long as you planted it in a place that it's not sitting in standing water. That will be an issue. So, but other than that, yes. Leland says, we are doing a Harry Potter Christmas. Oh man, my mom would never be on board with that because she doesn't get it. But I would love a Harry Potter Christmas. Oh man, Mom, we gotta do a Harry Potter Christmas. A lot of people in the family would love that one. So, yes, Paul Banham says, hi, Nate and Tribe. Before I forget, Merry Christmas to you all. Yes, same to you, my friend. AK Froggy says, Melakaliki Maka. Melakaliki Maka. Right. I don't know any of the other words, but... Moon Bladem says, what type of fertilizer is best for the garlic? Well, a balanced fertilizer. A base fertilizer is most important, okay? Remember, guys, we have a couple of different types of fertilizer. We have base fertilizer, which is what you put into the soil. And then we have additional fertilizer, which is all of the liquid fertilizers, the compost tea, the fish fertilizer, the JDOM, all that stuff. It's all additional. The base fertilizer is the most important, especially with something like garlic. So ideally, at the time of planting, if you watch my How to Grow Garlic Like a Viking video, then you will see that when I plant the garlic, I typically add a thick layer of fresh manure right on top. And that's pretty much all it needs. A good thick layer of manure. Horse manure, cow manure, chicken manure, although much less chicken manure. It's much more concentrated than the other ones. Even if you have rabbit and alpaca, sheep, goat, those more benign types, you can layer it on there, no problem. So that's really the best. So you should have that taken care of. But otherwise, you can, in the early spring, you will be able to add mulch of grass clippings because the garlic will be poking through the mulch that you put down already. And so you will be able to see where it's at. And then you can put fresh grass clippings or fresh alfalfa clippings or fresh crimson clover clippings, some type of clover, something like that. as a mulch, and that will break down. You can even do it now because that takes a while to break down and to help fertilize. Those are all like base fertilizers, and that's the most important. If there was like a pyramid, base fertilizer, what you put in the soil is the most important. That's the foundation. And then the rest will be, additional until you have the all-seeing eye at the top of the pyramid. But so if you didn't do that, or if you fear that you didn't do enough of that for the garlic, then you will need to add additional fertilizer. And so I strongly recommend in the early spring into the late spring, the fish fertilizer, which is going to be higher in nitro. Yes, the fish and the chicken manure fertilizers. Those are going to be higher in foliage producing compounds. Okay, remember, we don't divide it into NPK in the natural farming world, really. Because it's all just kind of balanced, and it's all there in a balanced form for when the plant needs it. But some of them do promote leafier growth than others. And so, yes, garlic can have some good nitro, balanced nitro in the early spring. And then you could give it a liquid to transition, like late spring, early summer. Because remember, garlic is harvested midsummer in July. And so, like early summer, you could give it the ash fertilizer, yes, for the good potash and the good calcium, magnesium, all kinds of other good stuff. Give it that. But then about July, give or take, or late June, you stop fertilizing the garlic because you don't want it to be overly trying to grow as it wants to set them bulbs. So I've made the mistake before, a little bit this year, adding too much, getting overzealous and adding too much too late. And that doesn't make it store very well. And it makes it susceptible to diseases. Yes? So there is the lowdown on garlic. So Jessica Benjamin says, just planted 35 cloves of garlic yesterday. It's so mild here, it's still like fall. So crossing my fingers. It'll work. Yes, it'll work. God Complex says, Merry Christmas, tribe. So my garlic is already sprouting, like immediately, 3 weeks after planting. Any ideas why? I'm in Seattle. Well, because because right now in that area of the world, it is go time for a lot of the plants. They love that cloudy, very humid, lots of rain. They love that kind of environment. And so the garlic is thinking, all right, it's springtime. Don't have to worry, though. You don't have to worry about it. It will be fine. It will be fine. Just put more mulch over it. Put some more mulch over it until they're just, barely poking through the mulch. Big West says, I believe garlic can be planted late. Early is when you get too much growth and head start you don't want. True. You will get bigger bulbs, though. It's kind of like an art form. And I would say it's better to plant a little bit early than late, just because it will just go dormant. So long as you're not in blistering cold, where the stalks that grow, the sprouts that grow from the garlic, if they are exposed to the blistering cold and the wind without any snow cover, then it can sort of desiccate. It can act like a wick, and it can pull the moisture out of the bulb that is below ground. That's why you have to have plenty of mulch. And so that the freeze-thaw cycles, if you live in a place like Indiana where there's freeze-thaw all winter, then that can heave the things up above the ground. That's why you need them to be tucked away under a nice layer of mulch. Okay? That's very important. Look to Nature says, it's a very Merry Christmas here, tribe. Man, you guys are good with them. Remember Memento Mori and a very Merry Christmas. Yes, it's a Christmas miracle. Yes. B. Hendricks says, it's pronounced potash. Potash. Oh, well, here we go. I've been living a lie my whole life. I thought it was potash. Outsider Attila says, yo, Viking, I'm a total noob. My dad passed away 2 weeks ago. Sorry to hear that, my friend. and I inherited his garden. Do you have any beginner videos I should check? Well, that depends on what kind of, well, first of all, my condolences, of course, for the loss of your father around the holidays or at all. And second, it depends on what kind of farming he was doing. Okay. So if he was putting Miracle Grow all over the place, or he was putting he went to the farm fertilizer stores and got like triple 16 and stuff like that, triple 20, ammonium nitrate base, potassium nitrate base, all that kind of stuff, then it's a different protocol. If he was already organic gardening though, and he was already adding good fertility to the land, if he was using manures and or even some of the organic dry amendments, bone meal, blood meal, feather meal, all that kind of stuff, but in particular heavy mulches and all that, if he was already using that stuff, then you might just be good. You don't really need to do anything. So it says, Viking, my dad did everything 100% organic. That's a great start. So he has lots of trees, but also some veggie spots, which now due to winter is empty. Okay, so good. Then that's what you want to hear. Because if it was chemicals, then if he was like putting Miracle Grow on his yard or on his plots year after year, then that would be killing the soil. They would be literally, the soil and the plants would all be addicted to the Miracle Grow like a heroin, and so they can't function without it. So that would be a whole mess to try and transition away from. But since he's already 100% organic, then you're good. And so I would say around the trees, just make sure that there is a mulch layer around the trees. Trees don't, unless they're like really well established, but fruit trees and all that kind of stuff, they like to have a good shredded mulch, hardwood mulch, that is around the base, at least around the drip line. All right. Because they like to always have that moisture buffer, and they don't like to have any competition with other stuff. So that's what trees like to do in the forest and in nature, is that they have more tree material on the ground around them. So we can mimic that. The veggie plots, I would say at this point, if there's no cover crop in it or anything like that, if you could get some manure of some kind, that would be great. Yes, if you could get some cow manure would be good. Horse manure is also good, but it needs to be composted first to get rid of all the weed seeds, because horses don't digest their food nearly as efficiently and completely as cows do. And so in cow manure, there's very few seeds. In horse manure, there's lots of seeds. So you have to be aware of that. But if you hot compost it or let it sit for a long time, then you're good. So those are all things that I would say. But if there's like a video, I made a video last year or the year before, I think, when I first started the channel, saying beginners start here. And it will just tell you just a basic fertilizer schedule. It simplifies everything. It might sound really complicated, like, oh no, I got to do all these things, but you don't really. You just have to, there's a few simple rules. Keep the soil covered is important. Deciduous leaves, grass clippings, straw, those kind of things, really good for the soil. And you just want to keep it covered and not exposed to the elements. And then, that's really enough. Okay, so there's all kinds of, you don't have to overcomplicate. If you're a total noob, just make one of the fertilizers. If you got access to fish, I would say make the fish fertilizer. That's the greatest of all of them in my experience. Make the fish fertilizer. I'll be making a video this spring on how to make aerated compost teas, which are actually very simple. It's not intimidating. You just need an air pump and a tub, and then the supplies, which is, once you got it, it's pretty awesome. And the aerated teas, they're just fantastic. They're just fantastic. And they won't put you off on the smell and all that kind of stuff, That's why I'm sort of leaning more towards the aerated teas. Last year, that's all I used in the garden, just to make sure that, yes, that still functions like that and everything. And the aerated teas, I'm just leaning more towards that, because now that I've got so much feedback from all of you guys, thousands of people now, that the smell of the J-Dom stuff really puts a lot of people off. And so to fix that, we just do the aerated compost teas. It smells like fresh baked bread. Literally, it smells like the yeasty smell. It's just so delicious. So, B. Hendricks says, or maybe it's pronounced potash. I think it's potash. Potash. No, man, it's potash. So it's also potash. But man, once you've been traveling all around the world enough, you come to the understanding that everything is just made up. All the language is totally made up, and it has no bearing on reality whatsoever. And so everyone makes different sounds with their mouth, and it all just kind of it symbolizes things that we see. So the English say things totally different than us, and this is the English language technically. Although we should rename this type American. Americana. But yeah, so I don't get hung up too much on that, because I picked up a lot of like words. A lot of people are like, why do you pronounce things like that? Or where's your accent from? Well, I just picked it up from 10 years of traveling, being fully immersed in other countries, and so you just pronounce things certain ways, and you don't get hung up if that's the right way or not, because it totally doesn't matter. So you know what I mean. Yes, Garth, good to see you here, my friend. Says Merry Christmas, Joyeux Noël, Feliz Navidad, Frohe Weihnachten from Northern Ontario. Okay, was the first one French, the second one Spanish, the third one is German. Is that right? The Fungi says, hey, Nate, is the aerated tea video coming? It will be, yes, in the spring, definitely. But if you guys have noticed, I have taken a holiday from making videos on this channel because it's just good. It's just good because I feel the energy. You have to nature goes in cycles as well. And so everything kind of falls down and comes back into hibernation, leading into the solstice, the winter. You wouldn't expect a flower to bloom in the middle of winter. And you wouldn't try to force it to bloom in the middle of winter, because it blooms in its season. And it has certain seasons for its growth, for its blooming, for its returning to the land, and for its hibernating. And so I feel those energies, definitely. And so this is like a hibernation of video making and all that stuff. So once January comes, probably the second week of January, I'll start it hot and heavy, making videos every week. I got all kinds of new videos for you guys now because I'm planning it out. See, last year and the year before, we're almost 2 years old on this channel. It was just, I would just go on, hey, so what video do I want to make this week? Or whatever. And I would just have to like come up with a new thing every week. And that's great, but then you're having to like constantly create new stuff out of thin air. And so now I'm like planning each video out each week for the whole growing season so that I can have, I think it's going to be a lot better that way for me, at least. So there'll be like one main video and then several different shorts and then a live on Saturday. Big West says, Nate, I'm using JMS as a soil softener for helping lawn roots free up. The facultative anaerobes are soil miners. Wish me luck. My crazy lawn input comments and ideas. Yes, Big West is a pioneer in the experimentation of the lawn as far as with the organic inputs. So there is a section I started just for you on the Discord chat. So you can put pictures and other people can put their questions and experience, because I do get those questions a lot. Hey, I don't really have a garden, but I got a lawn that I want to just do, naturally. I don't want to dump chemicals on it, but I want it to be thick and lush. So yeah. And I always tell the people, make the two fertilizers that will do that is you could spray the fish fertilizer and you can spray the ash. And the labs and the aerated compost teas, but definitely the fish and the ash. Those working in unison will definitely help. Or you could just use the grass JDOM liquid fertilizer, and that is decomposed grass, and so that will also really help. Let's see. Danny Howell says, anyone catch the jar pop in the background? Wow, that's good. Yeah. It's from, I I think it's way over there. It might have been this one because I wanted to show you guys these peppers. You see, it's so good. You can just dry the cayennes, you just dry the peppers and use them, store them in an airtight container, use them all winter long. And the smoked poblanos, the smoked paprikas, the Hungarian paprikas that I have, all that kind of stuff is all sitting just like this. Either it's been smoked or not, but then dehydrated and put into the jars. And that is what you want to do. You want to leave them in their whole state as long as possible. And I realized this over years of doing it, because for some years I would take the peppers, grind them all into powder at around harvest time in the fall, and then use it all winter long. But then I began realizing that come about midwinter, about January, it sort of lost its flavor. Its pungent smell of the smoke and the flavor, and so that's when I realized you keep them whole. If you keep them whole as long as possible, they never lose flavor. I mean, not never, but they will keep all year until the next year, no problem. So you only use as much, you only grind up as much of your spice as you are going to use in the next few weeks or month. So that is a major tip right there, guys. I mean, if you're into cooking like I'm into cooking, I'm into cooking like it's like an art form. It's like the central focus of my life, food, and consuming it, growing it, understanding it, experiencing it, sharing it, cooking it, all of that stuff. And so it all comes down to the ingredients, the quality of ingredients. I mean, the flavor of a meal goes all the way back to the soil it was grown in, the intention of the grower. All of these things matter. And as your palate and your senses become more and more sensitive, then you can sense these kind of things. Yes? Kip Tap, $10. Thank you very much for the tip, my friend. Yes, he says Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. Yes, I hope you have a wonderful time. Garth says, let's give Nate a Christmas present. By each subscriber, get one subscriber and push this through to all your social media. Oh, that would be great. Yes, definitely. No, it's not a pyramid scheme, but if you get 2 friends and then they each get 2 friends, the Office episode, do you remember that? Yeah, but it's not a pyramid scheme. No, seriously though, that would be great. If you could just push the channel out to 1 or 2 people, that's actually a great gift for a lot of gardeners. If they're not aware of the channel, you can just say, hey, because it doesn't cost you anything. You can just send them the link and say, here's a bunch of information, good knowledge and stuff. Here is the answers maybe to a lot of the questions you might have. And we're doing it in a way that is healing the land, definitely. Yes, as we become more and more self-sufficient. Let's see. Matthew the King says, new subscriber here. I've been binge watching for a few weeks. Cool channel. Love your content. Yes. Thank you, my friend. You are very welcome. Guys, I just made a new video on my traveling channel, Travel Like a Viking. I hadn't made a video on there in 2 years, but just made another one. And the link to that video is in the description of this video. If you haven't watched those, there's 26 videos already from several years ago. I started filming those 5 years ago, and then yeah. But anyways, so it just describes my 10 years traveling the world. They're in chronological order, and we just got done with the Island Romance, which is very fitting for the theme of the Christmas party. So you guys can check that out if you want. Leave me a comment on that channel. I'm trying to grow that channel. Also trying to grow Thrive Like a Viking, where we do a live stream every Monday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Except not this Monday because it will be Christmas morning. So Paul Banham, 10 pounds sterling. Thank you, my friend. Says, Nate, is it okay to plant onions in the same place as last year? I used a larger membrane and had 3-inch holes at 6 inches apart, and the membrane is still in place. Yes, you should be fine for several years. You'll be fine for a couple of years. Now, the thing, though, is that how you're going to want to reinvigorate the land, because onions will pull a similar sort of set of nutrients out of the land each year. So you will want to reinvigorate that in some way. So that's going to present your number one issue, is that you will want to do that. You could even get some dry nutrients if you want. Pull the fabric back, gently pull it back, sprinkle bone meal, blood meal, feather meal, that kind of thing, like the Viking granular nutrients that I'm developing for you guys. And sprinkle that down and then put the fabric back over it. That's what I do in some places. So, yes. Now, but if it's just 1 or 2 years, you'll be totally fine. You'll be fine. Even 3 years, but after that, you run the risk of attracting certain pathogens and stuff like that. So it's best to. I used to never crop rotate, but now I do for some things. Well, actually, now I'm going to, after like the 5th year of growing garlic in the same place. We've got some issues happening. Last year we had some issues, definitely, and I showed you guys this before, but a lot of the bulbs are they're just disintegrated. You see, in storage, they just totally disintegrated, and they're like air. They like evaporated. So that's not going to work. We're going to have to. So I switched positions, and because I got like 23 different kinds of garlic from you guys this year, which is awesome. So I planted it out into the garden in a nice way that we'll be able to tell exactly where everything is. And so, yes. $10 from Garth. Thank you very much, my friend. 10 Canadian dollars, huh? What is that? What's the exchange rate between pounds and dollars, American dollars and Canadian dollars these days? He says, thanks for all you do. Really appreciate you. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you as well. And all of your input here and on the Discord. You guys are sharing lots of good information on the Discord, so that's super cool. Farang Ban Nok says, hello, sir. Is there a book out yet? Not yet. No. It is in the works, though, definitely. It's part of my weekly routine where every certain amount of days over the week, I've been working steadily on the book. So this is my first book, though. I envision that I'll be writing lots of books about gardening, but also about traveling, also about things like meditation, things we do on the Thrive Like a Viking channel, but definitely traveling, because that I have a vast amount of experience with. But a certain type of traveling, not like the vacationing type of traveling, like vagabonding, like where you just go with a backpack and a one-way ticket and you have no plan for the foreseeable future. That's the way that I used to like to do it. Jenny Grubb, $10. Thank you, guys. Look at all these Christmas gifts. Appreciate the contribution, my friend. Let's see. Mom Computer says, Nate, do you think if you temporarily named the Saturday videos winter gardening questions would attract new subscribers that would be on board when spring comes? Love what you do. Thank you. That is a great idea, and I will do that, actually. I'm going to rename this one. That's a great idea. Yeah. So we're going to do that. Mom Computer's full of great ideas. You could instruct on the sprouts, mushrooms, etc. Yes, definitely. We can do that. There is the sprouts, guys. I'm loving to grow the alfalfa sprouts. I'm doing all kinds of different sprouts. Just got the first batch of sunflower microgreens, pea shoot microgreens, which I let go too long. They were a bit fibrous, but still, we're learning the setup. I mean, we're getting it all set up and everything like that. So, these sprouts, though, the alfalfa sprouts, I always got a jar of these going all winter long, guys, because right about now and tonight, and even the next day, because the day after tomorrow, by tomorrow night, these will fill the entire thing. And then the day after tomorrow, they will fill it so tight you can't even get it out. You have to cut it and then get them out. But I like them when they're right about here. And so the way that I eat this is that I will have my standard thing that I will have, like a steak and sweet potatoes, because now is the time for winter storage crops. Okay. And I'll show you in a minute. But I'll have like steak, sweet potatoes, and then this, which I will take out and put into a bowl. And I'll put just some maybe balsamic or some red wine vinegar or some olive juice, pour it over it, or just a little bit of tamari, something like that, soy sauce, a good quality soy sauce. And I'll just eat it, as like a salad, a sprout salad. That's all you got to do. Full of digestive enzymes, guys. So good for the body. Full of life force. Like maximum life force is in, almost maximum, is in sprouts. So very good to get into your diet. Very easy to make. Super easy to make. But here's what I mean by wintertime growing or wintertime eating is that, we have things like this Tahitian squash. Yes, they are still just like they were 2 months ago when we harvested them, 2 or 3 months ago. And they will stay like this for like a year. I mean, they'll stay like this even through the hunger gap, which typically is like March, April, May, or March and April. Is that time in the garden when nothing is really growing and you've consumed all your potatoes, they've all sprouted and stuff. But these will still be around. So that's why I will save them till later winter, definitely. And can make all kinds of good stuff with these. I made these for Thanksgiving, guys, remember? And I grilled them, and then I put the sweet stuff over them, and they were a big hit. Yeah, with some Parmesan cheese, some pecans, and some maple syrup. Yes, oh yeah, super good. Plenty of butter. Oh, that's right. I sort of infused the butter with the sage leaves. Yeah, and then I drizzled it over the top. That's right. And it was a huge hit. Everybody loved it, of course. So during the wintertime, we're not trying to eat like tons and tons of leafy greens. I mean, because they're not growing right now. We have microgreens, yes, but it's not like the same. And so we're not, so we lay off the vegetables not as intensely. So we're eating a lot more meat. So we're eating meat every day for winter. And raw dairy, of course, and eggs, both raw and cooked, and fish and stuff like that. But also then the storage crops. So when we cook, we're having onions with like every meal, pretty much. Onions and garlic, because they're the storage crops. And so the onions, these yellow of Parma, are still rock hard, super pungent, really flavorful, just incredible. They're my new favorite onion. So yes, we are getting the onions and even the red onions. Now the Wethersfield red onion, they're like a small to medium size. Most of these onions are like this small. These Wethersfield red. Some of them are bigger than this, but there's a lot like this, and that's perfectly okay for me, especially for a single person dish. Even though because I intermittent fast kind of, and I only eat dinner, I have like 3 people's portions of food for dinner. So, Root Trackers by Yara says the sage butter is fire. Thank you. Oh yeah, super good. You just infuse it with some sage and then some brown sugar is what I put into that. This is delicious. P. Morton says, I have had no luck growing onions from seed yet. Okay, well, you will this year. So you just have to make sure that the conditions are right. What was the problem? You got to use fresh seed. That's the thing. Onions only last 1 season. I mean, onions are the thing you have to get fresh every year for the most part. You might have luck with 2 years, but they oxidize so easily. So it's best to get you the fresh seeds. And you see here, alfalfa seeds. And this is enough for all winter long. Just this right here, because we only need to use 2 tablespoons per jar. And this has only been like 3 days. 3 days. And if your house is warmer than mine, it will go a lot faster. My house is 56 Fahrenheit in the night and about 62 sometimes during the day. So it's quite cool. But if they're like 75 degrees, then they're growing like crazy. 3 times as fast based upon that temperature. But I like it because when it's grown in a cooler, it's slower, but yet it is actually sweeter. They're crunchier, more succulent. And so that's why you just have to have multiple ones going at the same time. Like once this gets to about this stage, now you want to start another one. 2 tablespoons of the alfalfa seeds into the jar, soak it for 12 hours. Watch my video I made last year on sprouting. Very simple. And then you have fresh, living food, life force, energy, all kinds of digestive enzymes, vitamins, and minerals. Alfalfa sprouts are some of the healthiest things you can possibly eat. Yeah. If you have dark circles around your eyes, yes, like a lot of people do, this is a sign of your internal state. And so the alfalfa sprouts can really help to fix that. You know what I'm talking about, the dark sort of circles around the eyes and stuff. So ideally you want the area around the eyes to be nice and light and to not indicate deficiencies and maladies happening in the gut microbiome. So alfalfa sprouts will help dramatically with this. All right. Let's see. Amy says, question, Nate, can you put labs in a garden now, undiluted or lightly diluted in zone 6? No plants growing, just for the microbe addition. Yes, I think I answered that question just this morning. Well, I know that I did. So yes, you can. You can add labs when there's no plants in the ground. You can add labs full strength if you wanted to. But the thing is, it's kind of a waste because it doesn't really work like that. It's so you want the labs to, it only takes a little bit. So the best way to utilize labs, if you have an excess of it, is to dilute it, 1 to 5, something like that, real strong, and or 1 to 10, and spray it over the compost pile. Mix the compost pile, spray it, or if you've got potting soil you're trying to reinvigorate, then you can spray it onto there, mix it around, spray it onto there like that, and just spray it all over the whole garden. Everything in the garden, you can spray it, and Big West says, Nate can digest Elvis Presley. That's right. My digestive fire is like a towering inferno, actually. So, Deanna K says, agreed, and it wouldn't let me skip it after 5 seconds. Haha, hate it. You must be talking about ads. Yeah, YouTube is doing it all on their own now. When you monetize the video, it just puts ads on there. And it gives you 3 options: conservative, moderate, or aggressive on how many ads you want. And that's the only choice you get anymore. And so I just always put conservative. You make less money, but it's a more pleasurable viewing experience. I just can't stand ads. Even though I've got YouTube Premium, so I never see an ad anymore, which is fantastic. I cannot recommend it highly enough for you guys. If you're like me and you learn a lot from YouTube, you don't have a television or anything, so YouTube is very critical to my learning of things as well. And so I watch a lot of YouTube as far as if you need to do anything or inspiration for things. And so the getting the ads out of your mind and out of your life is very important. All right. Mississippi Soldier says, how do you cook your Swiss chard? Well, there's several ways you can cook Swiss chard. It has the same texture and consistency as spinach. So it's not like collard greens. So if you watch the collard green video that I made, where you make like a stock first with the smoked turkey leg and all that stuff, then you can use the same recipe except only, so make the stock and everything, but then chop up the Swiss chard and add it only for like 10 minutes into the boiling stock. Or if you got bone broth, you can bring bone broth up to a boil, and then you could put in like a spoon of miso paste, yes, or a dash of soy sauce, something like that. And you can then put the Swiss chard in there for like 10 minutes. That's it. And then it'll be a really good stew like that. So several different ways, but raw is not very, very good in my experience. But you don't want to cook them. They're nothing like collard greens. Collard greens can take several hours before they become soft. K Jax, $50. Thank you very much, my friend. Look at that. Says, thank you for sharing your knowledge, Nate. You have a great mindset and have a natural gift for teaching. Happy holidays to you and yours. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate that. Fantastic. Yes, it's wonderful. I spent many years cultivating a positive state of mind, intentionally cultivating a positive state of mind. It doesn't just happen by accident. So it's the practices and experimenting with things, and then it's just wonderful to help to share with you guys. And so, because that if you have some kind of knowledge and somebody is interested in it, then you're like, oh yeah, to exchange the knowledge, if people are hungry for it. So it's just fantastic. That's why I really appreciate YouTube, and the social media in general. There's all kinds of negative stuff about social media, and there can be if you choose to focus on that and use it like that. But you can also use the social media like a tool that is very valuable. All of us have connected through the social media. We've learned so much. We've shared so much, and we'll continue to. Even Instagram. My Instagram, there's no frivolous nonsense that I put out on Instagram. So there's a lot of that, but you don't have to be a part of that, the frivolous nonsense on Instagram. You can use it to learn. So I follow some guys with kettlebell training and stuff because that's what I'm into. I love to train with kettlebells. So fresh ideas on kettlebells. So I follow them. It's just great. So, yes, thank you. Melody Lyons says, oh my gosh, thank you. I am on YouTube probably 8 hours a day when possible. You call it YouTube University. Look up your car, fix your water heater, on and on. Oh, absolutely, guys. Anything that you need, well, I'll just watch a YouTube on it. Yeah, but that's also why, I watched YouTube for several years before I started this channel. That's also why I started this channel, in the sort of name of the game here is brevity. In my videos, it's like, okay, how can you distill the essence of what needs to be said and leave out all the stuff that doesn't need to be said to convey the point in a deep way? That's the game for me. That's the fun, like, okay, now how can I distill it? And stuff. And so that's why, like, okay, 6 minutes, 10 minutes, even up to 15 minutes is acceptable for those kind of videos, for like tutorial kind of videos. There will be other kind of videos once the channel expands and we get the land and all that. There will be more like vlogging type videos where I'm taking you guys along, showing you the decision-making process, showing you the new animals we get, showing you all this kind of stuff. Those will be a different kind of video. But for the tutorial videos, like how to do something, they need to be brief and to the point. And so that is why I actually started this channel when I was like trying to, over the years I've been watching gardening stuff, and many of them are just like on and on, 27 minutes on how to do some simple little thing. And it's like, where's the information in here? You're clicking around trying to scan. It's like, so yeah. But that's nothing against them if it works for them, Let's see here. Yes, give the thumbs up, everyone. Thank you, definitely. P. Morton, $5. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, Nate, I planted lentils as a winter cover crop. When is the best time to no-till terminate them? Zone 10, C. Where is 10? Zone 10? So that's like the tropics then, right? So best time to terminate them would be 2 weeks. Well, I don't know exactly, actually, because I've never had, here lentils self-terminate in the winter. Even in California, they'll self-terminate in the winter. So I don't know exactly. If you're no-till terminating them, I don't know. Has anyone have experience growing lentils in the tropics or something like that where the weather's not going to terminate them? Because if you're going to no-till them, that, I don't know. If you're going to green manure them, of course, 2 weeks before planting, or even the day before planting is fine. But if you're going to no-till them, then that's different. Mom Computer says, Nate, I have never sent you a well-deserved tip. Yes, I know. Then you poo-pooed the idea of a freeze dryer gift. Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're going to give me a $5,000 freeze dryer, but not a $10 tip. Let it be known that you have a wonderful gift coming, although it'll be late. Hey, it says, let the sugar plums dance in your head until you get it. You'll recognize it when you get it. Hey, not a problem. I appreciate your contribution in so many other ways. So it's an energetic contribution, knowledge contribution, and the energy is very important. And so I appreciate all of that. And how much you help promote and share the channel, because this channel actually grew really fast in the sense the first 120,000 subscribers grew really fast, in my opinion. And that is because you guys helping to share everything and thumbs upping the videos and leaving comments and sharing it with your other gardening friends, all that kind of stuff. So that all helps dramatically, because this is a marathon, not a sprint for me and for us. And so the pictures is much, much bigger. This is the humble beginnings of the Valhalla experience. So it'll make more sense in a few years when you see everything starting to happen. You'll say, wow, man, I was there in the beginning. Yes, Jessica says, new land, how exciting it will be. Oh, definitely. It's going to be awesome, the whole process. Look to Nature says, everybody else wants to blabber on for 5 minutes before they get to it. Oh, I know. It's actually a skill, though, guys. I found to make a concise video is way more difficult. To make a short video is way more difficult to make than making a longer video, where you just kind of start talking, and then, okay, guys, so today I want to show you how to make fish fertilizer. But first, I went to Menards the other day, and then I saw the lady there. She asked me what color, blah, blah, blah. None of it has any relevance to the topic, so, and that's fine for them if they want to make those kind of videos as an outlet of expression. But if you're trying to, like, say, hey, guys, here is something that I know how to do, so here's how to do it. It's got to be brief. What's up, Mick? Late, but better than never. Let us see. P. Morton says, spent $14 on a spaghetti squash today. Believe I'm saving those seeds. Yes. Yeah. Those might not be true to seed, but we'll see. I mean, if it's an organic one, then it probably will, yes. Mike Shenland, I'm in northern Indiana, by the Michigan border. Melody Lyon says, too poor to tip, but love is free, or should be. Yes, just spread the channel. That will be all the help, definitely. Muddy Paws says, Nate, any suggestions on expanded shale for clay and sand soil? Expanded shale. I'm not familiar with that. Sorry, I'm not familiar with that. AK Froggy says, lentils are part of most Asian cuisine, so they must be somewhat tropics tolerant. Oh, definitely. Yeah, lentils are a huge part of that. They're definitely tolerant. They like the heat. I mean, they like the heat more than other more than other legumes would, like peas, definitely. But I don't know how, as far as growing the plant. Oh, P. Morton says, near Tokyo. Finally getting cold. Had a freeze last night, but they're going strong. Okay, nice. Mad Dog says, what do you think of hybrid seeds? If I'm not planning to save seeds from those plants. What do I think of hybrid seeds? They're fine. I mean, they're fine. If you hybridization is very easy to do. With breeding and stuff like that. So they tend to, they breed for certain characteristics. Yeah. So, but like I said, like you've said, the main thing is that you can't save seeds, or you don't want to save seeds from them, because it's not that if you plant them, hybrid seeds, then they just produce one of their parents. It's not. They produce some kind of mutant. They produce a thing that will be that will have no flavor or will not set fruit or something like that. So most of the time when people are getting stuff from the grocery store or whatever, replanting it, seeds, it's never, even if the plant grows and stuff, it's never like you expect it. It's never true. So, but if you want to plant them, yeah, like different kinds of corn, hybrid corns, they can grow a lot faster and sweeter. Yes. They can be more prone to, well, not necessarily, I was gonna say they can be more prone to being just sort of weak, the genetics, but it all has to do with how you grow it. So if you're growing hybrid seeds in nutrient-rich soil that's bursting with life, then you will not have any issues. Let's see here. Teats Treats, concise videos, the number one thing that makes me click on your vids. Nice, thank you. Yes, very important. Concise videos, yes. Unless it's meant, I have to say this, unless it's meant to be a different kind of video, like a vlog type video that's 20 minutes long, totally different, But these kind of videos, they got to be brief, like we've said. Blackbird Schoolie says, we live in the bus, and I'll build everyone tiny homes. Nice. Yes, we will. $10. Thank you very much, my friend. Cookie Monkey says, Merry Christmas, Nate. My husband suggested that I challenge all subscribers to donate $10, and you would have your piece of land. Love all the knowledge we've gained. God bless you, my friend. Yes. I mean, I know. At some point, that would be great. I will do that at some point. That just requires, a lot, like when the time is right in some way, though, I will figure out how to do that. Some kind of a thing, a fund where people can donate to, and then see like, okay, here's the bar, here's our goal, or whatever. I mean, if every subscriber donated just $10, that's over $1 million. And so that would be enough to get the land. I mean, to get it outright and to get it happening fast. So, yeah, if something like that happened, that would be great. We will be designing some kind of program to do that. Definitely. Let's see. Blackbird says, Nate, me and my family will commit to coming and helping build this community on the land. Nice. That's what we'd like to hear, my friend. As that time approaches, it will all come together. We'll see how everything comes together. Definitely. And it will take people like you with those kind of skills, definitely. Because that will be the thing, is that the land will, and the school and all of that will have to be a communal type project. I mean, I will own it, but it will have to be a communal type project in the sense that you can't do everything yourself, of course. Like everything has to be orchestrated in the right way. And I remember this from all my time in California, living communally, how much can be done when it's orchestrated right. And also, likewise, how much cannot be done when it's just you trying to go around doing everything, and doing it right. So very important to have people involved from beginning to end. Mm-hmm. Yes, Melody Lion says 100,000 would be sweet. Yeah, definitely. I prefer to buy it outright with $1 million or 1.2. But you know something bizarre, guys, that might sound bizarre to you. But I have never in my life had a loan of any kind or debt of any kind. I've never had a credit card, anything like that. I never got involved with it, which is a double-edged sword. I mean, I have zero debt. I have the opposite of debt, right now. But at the same time, you don't have like the line of credit and you don't have a lot of stuff, which for the 10 years of traveling, that was, good that way. But yeah, so we'll just see how the future is going to come together. All I know is that for sure, I see it crystal clear already. So how? We don't have to really worry about that. I don't spend too much time thinking about the how because it all becomes clear as you're doing it. I've lived my whole life this way, really, but definitely the past many years. And it just works that way. VA Green, can you explain anything about the F1, F5 classifications when it comes to creating new strains of seeds or phenoms? I mean, I could give my basic understanding of it, but no, I don't even want to say anything here because it wouldn't be, I wouldn't be confident that it's right. So no, not really. Can't say anything about that kind of stuff because I don't get into that aspect of it. I let that go to other people that are into that kind of stuff. Ooh, good. Yeah, Mom Computer says good gardening is grounded in soil. That's right. Grounded in soil. Big Wheel Dog says, question. I know high nutrient crops are your main, but do you focus on fruits as well? Here at this plot, no, because I actually didn't plan on staying here all that long, and it's only going to be a few more years that I'm here at this spot. So fruit trees are a long-term thing. We had loads of them in California, but I was on a 220-acre ranch that had been in that family since the 1800s. And there was all kinds of trees that was planted all over the place. And we ate just so many different kinds of plums and cherries and all this stuff. And they all ripened at different times. So all summer long, we were gorging ourselves on all these different fruits. It was just fantastic. So that's how I learned all about eating with the seasons and how the body can store nutrients for long times. We're meant to eat with the seasons and how that feels and everything. So the very first thing I will do when we get the land is plant loads of fruit trees. Yeah, fruit and nut trees and shrubs and things like that. Yes, that's the very first thing we'll do. Which they'll all be planted pretty much the same. I mean, we know how to, it's all about the soil. It's all about the conditions. It's all about the mulch. It's all about, we know how to do all of this. But here at this place, we don't have the fruits because they're a multi-year thing. And so, but definitely very, very important. I mean, and they come back year after year. It's absolutely perfect. And that should be a very important part of the homestead. But here it's just temporary stuff. Yeah, for now. Oh, Wayfaring Farmer. Shalom, brother. Says, long time no see. Love the channel. Yes, it has been a long time since I've seen that name come up. Good to see you here. Yes. Blackbird says, we'll bring all of our fruit trees. Yes. Nice. Wonderful. Except they'll have to be able to be hardy up here because it's going to be around here somewhere-ish, probably, in the sense of I'm thinking the east side of Lake Michigan because I just love their weather and I love the seasons. I didn't realize how much I love the seasons. When I was in California, there's just rainy season and dry season. And the winter is like cool. They all say it's cold, but it's not cold. It's cool. And so that was good. And when I came back here, it was like, oh man, the winter and stuff. But that also had a lot to do with my state of mind at the time. So but now I love the winter because we're cold training every day. We're doing the sauna, we're cold training, we're doing indoor microgreens, and we'll be able to do the livestock thing throughout the winter. There'll be plenty we can do. And coming up with ways to grow, we'll dig a Wallapini greenhouse, on the land, of course, a sunken greenhouse utilizing the heat of the earth. And we'll be able to grow things like collards and leafy greens, bok choy, kamatsuna. We can grow all of that in a Wallapini for sure. We won't be growing tomatoes in the middle of winter in a Wallapini, but we will definitely be able to grow the real cold hardy stuff. Scorpio, $20. Thank you very much, my friend. Merry Christmas. Yes, Merry Christmas to you as well. Blackbird says, we really love the UP too. Oh man, the UP is amazing. Yeah, definitely. If it had to happen up there, definitely. It's just a little bit far away. It needs to be somewhat close to access for people to an airport, like a real airport, not like an airstrip. It's so because people will be coming from all over the world. People, will be coming for the classes, for the knowledge, for the experience, for all of that. So it can't just be like such a trek to get to it, like the UP. So it has to be within a couple hours of like a major airport. Yes. Um, P. Morton says, once I get debt free, I never went back. Or once I got debt free, I never went back. Even with a mortgage, if push came to shove, I could pay it off outright. Yes, definitely. It's just so important to me to not have, to me, it just never made sense. People are talking like, I've got a $25,000 line of credit. Like that's some kind of power or something. That's like, it just doesn't compute in my mind. It literally is like, just like, how do you take out a loan and think you have money? You have the opposite of money. You have debt plus more debt. That's somebody else's money. I get it that you have to do it for certain things, but there's got to be other ways in some way. But I've lived so far 38 years without ever a loan or a credit card of any kind. If that has to change, that's fine. For the land, of course, and stuff, because that now I'm confident is my life's mission. Before, it wasn't. My life's mission was being as free as possible to travel around and experience as much stuff as I possibly could. And so I couldn't have any kind of payments, and I've never cared about, even now, my expedition is a 2003, fully, I bought it in cash. I buy everything in cash, and so never any kind of payments. So it doesn't even compute in my mind. Like I go out, look at a truck and go, wow, oh, that's cool. This guy's got this truck. Yeah. He paid $65,000 for that truck. He's paying $600 a month for that truck. And so it's not even his. And it's like, okay, well, that's cool, I guess. But you could get a really used one that works great, and you could have it paid off, and you could be out from the stress of all those payments. It just, different mindsets. Now, one is not better than the other. There's just trade-offs. It's like, if you want all that stuff, okay, well, you got to be grinding constantly to be paying for all this stuff. Yeah, Blackbird says, I feel you, brother. I reminisce on my days of nothing but me and a pack and going where the wind blows as well. Yes. It's definitely. I reminisce on it, but not in a way like, oh man, I wish I still had that. Not at all. I fully have digested that, fully got that out of my quenched that burning desire to explore and to go out and see what the world is, and experience what it means to be alive. All of that. Now that same fire is redirected towards building the school and the land and all of that, and the skills and the community necessary for all of that stuff. So I literally have no desire to go and travel like that anymore, because the road has shown me everything. Yes. VA Green says, I saw something about Toyota was going to introduce a $10,000 work truck in the United States. That baby will sell like hotcakes. You ain't kidding. 10 grand, you can't even get like a used thing. The prices of stuff now is just crazy. Pam says, have you heard of the hotbed, growing veggies in winter? Hugh Richards has had great success. Yes. I saw Hugh's video as well. And you have to keep in mind that he is in England. Okay, you always have to keep in mind when you see Hugh's videos that he is in a place that could not be better. It's one of the best places in the world for growing stuff. The climate in the UK really is. For growing the types of things that he knows how to grow there. If you know how to work the climate to your advantage there, definitely. Plants love overcast, cool, high moisture. They love that kind of stuff. They don't like to fry and bake out in the full sun with droughts all the time and stuff like that. No. So, but anyways, their winters there, Hugh's winter and stuff, is not like a northern Indiana winter. Historically has been. This winter, yes. It's like 55 degrees right now. This is like a UK winter, but most winters it's way too cold. So it's, hotbed is good. It's a good method. We'll utilize those methods in the land. But you still are not creating a whole new season. You're not growing tomatoes in the hotbed. At least we wouldn't. I don't know if you did. I don't think so. But you're not growing like tomatoes and peppers and eggplants and cucumbers in the hotbed in the middle of winter, because the light there's not enough light as well. It's not just the temperature. It is the light, the days. There's only 10 hours of daylight, if that, right now. And the sunlight that is coming is way off on the horizon, at an angle. And so it's not intense, So certain things, you have to know what you're growing. You have to know the crop. This is very, very important when talking about doing this. Diamitri Saraswati, good to see you here, my friend. It's been a while. Says, my thoughts exactly on money, Nate. Yes, definitely. But I used to think, when I was traveling, I used to be all anti like money and debt and stuff like that. I was like, man, you should get free of all that stuff. And, and like, look at the way I'm living, because I was still in the ego at that time, and I was still a boy and stuff, had things to prove, but now, but then that's how I sensed in people's reaction and stuff. It's very off-putting when you encounter someone like that's trying to dog on your way of life, that you're already up to your eyeballs in debt and kids and everything like that. You don't want to hear this guy that doesn't have any of that talking about, how free his life is and stuff like that. No. So that's how I learned, though, that it's not actually, that one is not better than the other. That being up to your eyeballs in debt and having a bunch of kids and possessions and all that stuff is not better or worse than being debt free and being light and mobile. They're just different. They're just trade-offs, total trade-offs. You don't have debt, you don't have the house, you don't have the car and all that stuff, but you don't have the kids. You don't have the kids, but you also don't have kids. You don't have any of the experience of all of that, So it's just, there's trade-offs. Yeah. And that's why I never talk like that anymore. I never even say that or bring that up, about debt or any of that kind of stuff. So that's right. Lee Starr says, don't forget to like. It helps as the algorithm. Yes, it does. Diamitri says, hi, Nate. 5 a.m. here. 4 a.m. got too much for me to join in. 5 a.m. I can do. Okay, good. Thank you. Oh, P. Morton, I know. Everybody but America uses those two-stroke lizard trucks, 6K, brand new. Yeah, what do they call them? Lorries? Oh, man, those things make all the sense. American car culture is total insanity. Insane, beyond belief. And I never realized it until I went traveling. And I saw European and Asian cities that were designed before the automobile. And so the roads are so much more narrow and smaller. The distances are so much smaller. And so the cars are so much smaller and more compact and efficient. Here, we just have our cities without a car, forget about it. Without a car in America, all except for the biggest cities, just forget about it. You're handicapped. You cannot live in this country without a car of some kind. Public transport, yeah, in the biggest cities. But in most of it, just no way, because our cities are built for the automobile. They're built in such a way that there's huge, vast distances between places, and that the roads are just mega wide and the vehicles are enormous and everybody goes so fast, and it's totally different. So yeah, I can see why those trucks would never pick up here, because everyone around here now, all these SUVs, and I drive one. I drive like the biggest SUV there is, because that's what I had in California and came across. But it's like everyone's driving dump trucks now. There's no more cars. There's no more like little cars. It's all huge SUVs now. Deanna K says, OMG, it's so awful being in the young ego. Sheesh, I'm embarrassed thinking about mine. I know. Definitely. And that can happen. But you have to remember that the butterfly could never hate the caterpillar for being earthbound. It was a process. So the butterfly can never hate the caterpillar. Just remember that. That's what I used to tell myself that a lot, and realizing, you know what? It's a chrysalis. It's all of the process. You have to go through that if you are to grow. And so that is the beauty of aging. So that is why, if we love who we are now, then it's we cannot hate, or we cannot even feel embarrassed of it, although it is slightly embarrassing. That's why I'm glad that social media did not exist when I was an actual kid and stuff. Oh man, I would have been trying to get so much attention. I would have done anything. Back in that, I was just a totally different person, possessed by the ego, and so and all that stuff would still be around. Think of some of those crazy drunken nights you had as a kid and all that stuff or whatever. All that stuff would still be around on social media. That would just be horrible. So I'm glad that we didn't have that stuff back then. Jenny Grubb says, Nate has a short with turmeric, lemon, ginger, honey, ferment. I love it. Ate the whole jar. Not good at sharing. Guys, you ain't kidding, man. Everyone that's tried that honey, lemon, ginger ferment has loved it. And it's helped us to have a boosted immune system, fantastic immune system, very, very vibrant and able to defend itself against anything that experiences this winter. Another thing, guys, remember greens powder, kale or beet greens or beets. You dehydrate it, powder it, and then add it to your smoothies during the winter time. Or you can encapsulate it, which I'll make a video on that probably at some point. Encapsulate it and take the capsules. Very good for you. Very good way to get the greens from the garden. Another thing I wanted to show you guys, I got this shower filter. It's a chlorine shower filter. I put it in the Amazon storefront, and it is super good. Guys, I've had many different kinds of shower filters, but this one is definitely the best. The water is so soft coming out of there. You don't experience the dryness of the skin. This one is definitely the best. It was like $60, give or take, and well worth every cent. So I put the link in the description or in the Amazon storefront. I've had the New Wave Enviro one and stuff. It pales in comparison to this one. Danny Howell says, I love that ferment as well, but wasn't expecting the ginger to taste so spicy. Okay, slice the ginger thinner and add more honey. Definitely. Those are what I've noticed will help. Queen RB says, I'm addicted to that ferment. Have to stop myself from eating the whole jar. Still struggling with eating the turmeric. Really? Oh, nice. Val says, OMG, so glad there wasn't social media while I was going crazy. That would be horribly embarrassing. Oh, I know. Absolutely. That's why I'm glad when I was going through that, changing from the caterpillar to the butterfly, that chrysalis cocoon type, I was tucked away in the mountains, like cut off from everyone and everything. That's I'm glad it happened that way and not any other way. Look to Nature says, I'm glad there weren't cameras everywhere when I was a kid. I'd be in a different place, totally different place. Spinster Mountain says, I drive a Tundra, but I also have to haul my own water and lumber. Also, I'm not a mechanic, so instead of rent and mortgage, I pay a massive new truck payment, done in 2 years. Yes, and so that is absolutely, I get it completely. And if there's a purpose to it, definitely. Like when I was living in the mountains and stuff, it's to have a good truck that is not breaking down. You're not a mechanic. Yes, to have a truck that's new or almost new, and that you don't have to inherit someone else's headache, and fix a bunch of stuff. You just want it to work because you have to haul stuff for that. Totally, that's a whole different thing. Totally justified. It makes sense in my mind, but here in the flatland, the people that have got these massive 4-wheel drives and stuff to just drive from their garage to their job at the factory and back home and stuff. I mean, to just drive around flatland Indiana, not hauling anything, not doing anything. There it goes again. That's the one, you know, and they jack up the truck super high and everything. Then this guy hops out. You know, I won't get into it. So, oh man, you ain't kidding. P. Morton says Nate for sure would be on a short with glow sticks and ginkgos. Dude, yes. I was the glow stick master back in the day. Spinning them. Oh man, yeah. Before that really caught on, yes. I still love to spin some poi. Spin some glow sticks. Queen RB says, wow, I was just looking for a chlorine shower head. Yeah, well, you found it. I mean, based upon my recommendation, this is the best one, definitely. I mean, as soon as I hooked it up, it's so large, you know, and the water is so soft coming out. There's no dryness, you know. I don't have to add the oil to the beard. I mean, I do occasionally, olive oil, but that's it. That's it. I don't use any kind of stuff. I wanted to say hygiene products, but I mean, I'm clean, I'm hygienic, but I don't use any deodorant, slathering on titanium dioxide and all that kind of stuff. You know, a bunch of lotions and a bunch of garbage all over your beard. You don't need any of that. I just use Dr. Bronner's soap, coconut oil, olive oil on the beard, and essential oils, and that's it. That's all you need. And then a diet that is conducive to not having rancid body odor. You know, that comes from the diet. When you smell those people that got ammonia that just, oh my God, that is toxins leaving their body. That has to do with the imbalance in their system, an expression of their gut microbiome. And so to take care of that, they just slather on Axe body spray and all kinds of garbage that's just poisoning their body, guys. Remember, anything you put onto the skin gets absorbed into the body, gets absorbed into the bloodstream. That is why they have topical testosterone creams for men, topical cream, all this stuff. All you got to do is rub it on the body. It gets absorbed. So all that garbage you're putting on the body gets absorbed. Jeffrey says, that fermented ginger, honey, turmeric, lemon is so good, Nate. It's addictive. Saw comments saying to add black pepper to boost the turmeric. And glad I added some. You added black pepper to it, really? And yes, I know the curcumin, the pepperin. It's the pepperin in the black pepper that helps the curcumin in the turmeric to become more absorbed by the body. This is the science behind it, and the Ayurveda science also says that as well. So whether or not that actually is true, how do we know? You know, how do we know for sure? We know that that's what they say. So, but if it tastes good as well, then that's a plus. So I didn't add any black pepper. I might try it though, if you say that it's really good. And Look to Nature says, Nate, how can we add peppermint to the wetting agent somehow? Are you talking about using it as a soap? You make the wetting agent totally normal, and then you add the essential oil peppermint afterwards. You have to add it after the fact. Yes, you can take it. And that's what we used to do on the mountain. We used to use the wetting agent as soap and mountain soap, and because it totally degrades. It's totally biodegradable, and so I would take monthly maybe every 2 weeks, like a shower or a bathe in the creek. Sometime. I mean, it was rough living there. But maybe weekly when the creek was flowing good, weekly shower, in the creek. And we would use that. And I would put, not peppermint, because I don't like how it tingles, how it makes the body feel. But I would put like tea tree or lavender, certain other things in there. Eucalyptus. Yeah. Let's see here. Tammy Harder says, I plan on making my grandmother's pickle recipe this year, and it calls for turmeric. She was born in 1894 and passed away in the 1980s. Yes, good long life. And a lot of the old recipes do call for the turmeric. In part for the coloring, definitely. Diana K. I stopped wearing deodorant a year ago. It started to scare me. I bet it causes breast cancer. Guys, the underarms are some of the most sensitive and highly absorbed. They have the most pores, for pheromones and for the sweat glands and all that stuff. And the access to the lymph system is all under the underarms. And so when we're putting these chemicals on them, that is just right into the body, into the bloodstream, into the lymph system, everything that we don't want in our life. And so that is, you'd be very good to get off of the deodorant. Now, there will be a rev down period where you will notice that the bacteria is out of balance because of what you've been adding to it. So that will take a moment until the pH neutralizes itself. That can take several weeks or a couple of months, but it will neutralize, and then it will just be the natural smell. But you can't be eating toxic chemicals. That's what smells, that's how you have to do it. Yeah, Dimitri says, I haven't used deodorant for many years. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I used it back when I was in the other ego mind and stuff, is I would wear Old Spice deodorant, and Polo Crest was the one that I love, the green Polo cologne. And I would just push all over and just reek of this. I mean, but everybody liked it. I always got comments on it. But no, that's just not the way anymore. VA Green says, I saw where Arm & Hammer introduced a deodorant with no heavy metals in it, but it's hard to trust commercial advertising. Yeah, hard to trust. That's putting it lightly. I would not even consider something like that, because for sure you have no idea. Because they have to make sure it works to cover up the putrid stench of all these toxic people. And so it has to be strong. They're not going to put out a product that is just going to kind of barely work. Creative Soil says, I use Salt Rock from Black Tie Salt Company for deodorant. What? I wonder how that works. Yes. Lee Starr says, just dab some baking soda under your arms, Nate. Yes, that's one thing that people do. That's one thing that people have said to do. Now, I think that there was a question I was supposed to answer. Oh, well, I just wanted to make a statement. I can't find the question now, but I wanted to make a statement. Guys, in lard, remember last week, I was extolling the many virtues of lard. And guys, lard has, you know how most people are vitamin D deficient. And it's a huge epidemic in the American Western culture. And the vitamin D. So all kinds of people are on vitamin D supplements. How many IUs do you take a day of the vitamin D and all that? But here's the thing, guys. Most of the chemicals, compounds, and the laboratory created vitamin Ds are not bioavailable, meaning that the body doesn't know how to absorb it, because it's a lot more complex than just having vitamin D put into the body. There has to be other things, cofactors and enzymes, and there has to be other nutrients in specific ratios, natural ratios, that the body can absorb, because this is what it's done for hundreds of thousands of years, is to operate in this way. So 1 tablespoon of lard has 1,000 IU of vitamin D. 1 tablespoon of real lard, not like lard from the store that's been homogenized and stuff like that, which unfortunately most of the lard at the store in the Mexican cooking section and stuff has been homogenized and is toxic. But real lard that is just, rendered fat from the pig, pastured pigs, of course, not conventionally farmed pigs, pastured pigs, is very nourishing, 1,000 IU of vitamin D, when the recommended daily intake is between 600 and 800 IU. So 1 tablespoon of the lard has got the full day's supply of vitamin D. And it is in its bioavailable form. This is the most important thing. of the whole process here is that it's in its bioavailable form, meaning it has all the other vitamins and minerals, cofactors, things that the body needs in order to absorb it all properly. So even if you're taking 10,000 IU of vitamin D in a pill form, you are expelling most of that. Most of that cannot be absorbed. It can even become toxic. So people can be taking vitamin D supplements and still be deficient in good vitamin D. So cook with the lard. Me and a friend just had steaks last night that I sliced them thin and made them like a teriyaki, not teriyaki, like a miso honey kind of thing. I sliced them thin and then fried them in lard in the wok, and super delicious, very crispy on the outside with very tender and juicy on the inside. It was fantastic. And this is the lard. Lard is fantastic for frying things. Very high smoke point. It's 400 degrees smoke point. So even though tallow has a higher smoke point, lard is very nourishing, guys. Yes, there's also vitamin K in lard. RK says vitamin K is supposed to help its bioavailability. Yes, it all works together because nature never extracts one certain particular thing and then gives it to you only in that form, because where in the natural world would we have ever gotten a bottle of pills, the vitamin D? And we're taking vitamin D and we think we're all healthy, but it just doesn't work that way. That's why people, it's like a false flag. It's like a false comfort. People take multivitamins and think, well, I'm getting everything I need because my diet can be kind of a joke. My diet can be a total joke and I can just take a handfuls of multivitamins and I'll get everything I need. It doesn't work that way. And so that's why people can be deficient even though they're taking all kinds of stuff. Where when you have a whole food natural diet, you're eating whole foods, green powder, we're eating onions and garlic, and we're making our own spices, all of that stuff. We're making our own ketchup. We're making our own ketchup, and it's made with. It's actually very complex to make your own ketchup. There's all kinds of stuff, allspice and cloves and vinegar, all kinds of different stuff. But it's quite delicious, and this is very nourishing. It's not like the chemical stuff from the store. So when we eat like this, guys, we don't have to worry about being deficient in stuff. Lee Starr says, so you're telling us to eat more bacon? Yeah, that's what everyone wants to hear. Well, it depends. Lard and bacon are different, very different. Bacon typically has been cured with the nitrates and all kinds of sodiums and preservatives. If you get real nitrate-free, if you're harvesting your own bacon, meaning like jowl bacon and stuff like that, if you're from pastured pigs, then absolutely, yeah, it is a superfood. I know, contrary to popular belief. But when we're getting like Oscar Mayer bacon from the store with all kinds of garbage in it, preservatives and chemicals and nitrates, then no, it's not so much. Queen RB says healthy gut microbiome and healthy soil microbiome. Absolutely, they go hand in hand. That is true. You have it starts in the soil. Even what you're feeding the pigs matters. With the lard, for example, what you're feeding the onions matters, because this onion's loaded with nutrients, because the soil's loaded with nutrients and microorganisms, life. And so then when I consume this, I'm getting the maximum nourishment from it. Yeah. Big West says 300 plus phytochemicals in outdoor organic tomatoes, 50 phytochemicals in greenhouse tomatoes. Yes. Something like that. I've heard of variations of this from scientists. Yes, I've heard the same. And it makes sense, of course. By phytochemicals, he means small chemicals that are natural organic compounds that are in real tiny amounts required by the human body. And so a good organic, especially heirloom, tend to be more nutrient rich. Varieties of tomatoes will be bursting with phytonutrients as compared to the hothouse tomato, which is just like a fake tomato. It's just like a placeholder for a tomato. It's like crunchy water, sour crunchy water. It's a joke compared to making stuff yourself. This is going to have tons of phytochemicals in it, lycopene, all the good stuff. and we made it ourselves. So that ketchup is a superfood. Jerry, good to see you here, my friend. He says, I tried to bargain an Amish guy for some lard to haul his hogs, and he looked at me like I was taking his lifeblood away. Now I know why. Oh, absolutely, man. The lard is, I use it for everything. It's wonderful. Tallow is also good. Tallow is also very good, even higher smoke point than lard. So if you're trying to fry, if you're trying to use a cast iron to pan sear a good ribeye, which I do all the time, then you want to use tallow. For pan searing most things, like a whole steak, then tallow is really good because it's a higher heat and it has that beefy flavor. It can have a beefy flavor to it. But for certain types of frying, like in the wok, the lard is just unbeatable. Unbeatable. And then after I was done and I took out all the stuff, after I was done frying it in the wok and I took out all the beef, the remaining lard and the little cracklings and stuff like that, I took and just poured right into the mashed potatoes, mashed that all up with a bunch of butter and raw cream and just raw a bunch of other stuff. It was so great. I mean, just like magnificent. That's how I like to eat, like that. And when we're eating real food, we don't have to worry about, oh no, the calories from this or that. It's actually not really about the calories. It's about how your body is told to process the calories that it takes. I know that seems crazy, but yes. So Wojtek, $20. Thank you, my friend. It's been a while since I've seen you here. It says, do you pay attention to the moon phase in your gardening? I actually do not. No, I do not. Because I just never really got into it. It was like a too much. I couldn't. My life was not that organized to say, okay, well, on this day I'll be able to do that thing. Not really. I do it when it like has to get done. So no, I don't. Although when I was living in the mountains, I was very attuned to where the moon was at in the cycle, because you live by the moon in the sense that the daylight, or the light, the moonlight on full moon nights when it's clear. Oh man, you could see everything without headlamps. It was just amazing. So we love the greenhouses would be 120 degrees during the day sometimes. So I would not be in there. So I would, as soon as the sun went down, the moon came out, I'd be in there watering for hours in the moonlight. It was fantastic. Queen RB says, only seems crazy because we've been indoctrinated versus educated. Absolutely. The indoctrination camps called public schooling, definitely. AK Froggy says, I use commercial lard to make suet for the birds and they wouldn't touch it. That should tell you something. It's because it's been hydrogenated. Yeah, it's been hydrogenated so that it will last way longer. There's a whole thing about it. I mean, I could go on and on about the lard and why it has, why it's been this way, but we'll talk about that later. Eddie Lyles says, I'm on a really tight budget. All I have to cover my garden for winter is plenty of leaves. Any such thing as too many? No, because you can just add them on there. You can add them on there 2 feet thick if you want. It will just mat down, become a thick layer of mulch. But here's the thing. Come spring, you have to still plant into the actual soil underneath whatever mulch you have. Only like tomatoes and some types of squash can you really plant just in leaves. But even then, they will put the roots out into the ground. So that's the biggest thing, guys. When you've got thick leaves, you have to understand that you still have to get to the ground below it. So you only want, when it's all compacted down, if there's about this much leaves, you still scoot it aside and plant your plant into that. But you have to be you have to be aware that having a thick layer of mulch over your soil is going to insulate the soil from the extreme heat in the summertime, but it also means it takes a lot longer for that soil to warm up in the springtime. A lot longer, weeks longer than it would if it was just. So in the early spring, if you're trying to plant crops, you can take that mulch off and let it get some UV, let it get warmed up. Or you can put black plastic over it as well, the leaves, and get everything warmed up more, because it will take a lot longer to warm the soil. VA Green, $20. Thank you very much, my friend. Says Merry Christmas. Yes, Merry Christmas to you as well, guys. Oh, it's 95 minutes already, so we are coming to an end. Yes, we got to go over to my brother's house and get ready. Gonna get ready for the party. So here I'm wearing my my costume, my Hawaiian Christmas. Yes, Mele Kaliki Maka. So, oh, Tammy Harder says, Nate, several of us would like your ketchup recipe. That's true. Yeah, I never even thought of that. I'll make a short at some point. Once I start making the videos again, I will make a short on how to do it. There's a lot of things in it, actually, more than you would think. But to me, it's amazing. I love it. I never thought, like, okay, put cloves, powdered cloves in the ketchup and allspice, but it tastes like ketchup, except better, deeper, richer, but it's because I use the good Roma tomatoes. You want to use a good paste tomato, definitely. Any tomato will work, but I love, for sauces and paste type stuff, I love using a paste tomato because it unlocks the flavor with the heat. Scooter Tasmania, is this live? Yes, it is live. Mom Computer says, Nate, everyone is screaming for your ketchup recipe. Yes. Off the top of my head, it's I have it written down, but it's off the top of my head, it's too complex. I don't remember every single thing that goes in and what how much of what. So, but it's important to do it in the right ratios, and it's also important to make sure that you reduce it enough, because nobody likes runny ketchup. To where it just doesn't stick to stuff. This, I let it on ultra low heat, let it reduce, because then you take a fried potato, something like that, and boom, like that, and it sticks to it. It's full of the good ketchup, yes. Scooter Tasmania says, do you know where Tasmania is? Tasmania is an island off the coast of South Africa, or what would it be? Eastern Africa. Is that correct? So, B. Hendricks said, I heard traditional ketchup is made with mushrooms. I don't know. Mine's not. So, Risha Rama says, Muri party frock. So pretty. Yeah, frock. That's funny. RK says, thanks, Nate. Love the new travel video. Neat to see you as a younger man exploring the world. Merry Christmas. Yes. Tasmania is off Australia. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Well, I knew it was an island off the coast of a continent. So, that's right. Tasmanian devil. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Now it all makes sense. Then what is the one that is off of Africa? It is, off the east side of Africa. Mauritania? What is the island off? Okay. Yes, RK says, love to see the new travel video. Guys, I put the link in the description below. There is the travel video, so you guys can check that out. Leave a comment. Just share your thoughts. I'm going to be making one of those every Friday for the next probably 2 months. I'll release one every Friday. So we can look forward to that. It's just an expression. I just want to continue, because so much, we're only like the first year into the 10-year odyssey, guys. So much happened. So that is, look into that. Madagascar. That's right. Thank you, John. Madagascar. Leland, $20. Merry Christmas. Yes. Thank you, my friend. So many gifts from you guys today. Merry Christmas to you all. Yes. We will not be doing the Monday live on the Thrive Like a Viking channel this Monday because it will be Christmas. But I'll release a meditation video on Tuesday so that we can still get the guided meditation. And we'll be right back here on Saturday, 12 noon Eastern time. Check out the links in the description. If you guys want to get you a sauna tent, man, it changes the game for winter. So for the new year, if you want to supercharge your health, get you a sauna tent. And the link to that is in the description to the one that I have. Use the link if you would. I get a small kickback from that. But it doesn't matter either way. You could just watch the video and reverse engineer a sauna tent if you want as well. That's perfectly fine. But whatever you got to do to get the sauna tent happening in your life. It's a wood-fired tent. I use it all the time. So that's great. We've got our second set of classes coming up where I teach people the cold training, the ice bath. We're growing microgreens and wheatgrass and all that good stuff. So use the link in the description to get you some mushrooms as well. Lion's mane and blue oysters and yellow oysters. I got those inoculated right now. Those are just colonizing the buckets. It's real simple. We just pasteurize straw. That's all we got to do. So yeah, all the good stuff, guys. All right. So Merry Christmas to you guys, and go and be with your family. Now is the time for that. And happy solstice. And the days are getting longer, guys. So summer is on its way.